Okay, how y'all doing tonight? I just checked my inbox and I had a message from one of my lovely honeys who needed my advice. Her girlfriend had been together for 2 years. Um, they're engaged, but lately they've been fighting and getting mad over little things, and they both have strong personalities, so they don't give up easy. Been there. Um, and sometimes, since she is dating a more masculine woman, she her girlfriend tends to think, since she's more masculine, that she's a guy in the relationship, so what she say must go, and it doesn't work well with one of my honeys. She's like, nah, it don't go like that. Yeah, it that happens. You know what? We tend to think sometimes that relationships, when you are truly in love with somebody, that it's a fairy tale, and it's not. There is no fairy tale relationship. You're going to have the arguments. You know, what y'all have to decipher between the two is the petty arguments and the ones that are worth fighting over. You have to look at them and you have to go, okay. Y'all have to sit down, what helps, what I found that helped, because I've been in that type of situation. I went through it with Danny. She was very, we wound up arguing about the stupidest things, like the dumbest, most irrelevant arguments ever about the most petty things, and it started to wear on us a lot, like where we were just like, we were pretty much always at each other's throats all the time. And what we found that really worked was communication. Sitting there, that's another thing. Getting mad and saying things that you will later on regret is not worth it. Whether y'all need to say, okay, you know what, let me take a breather for 5 seconds, 5 minutes, and you know what, just I'm gonna go sit in the other room and I'm gonna calm down, and then I'll be able to think rational about what it is that I'm trying to say to you. You know, y'all take that time when y'all having this heat argument. Y'all go take 5 seconds, calm down, 5 minutes, however long it might take you to calm down, and calm down, and then go, okay, I understand where you're coming from, but you have to understand where I'm coming from. She has to understand, just because she embraces her masculinity a little bit more than you do, does not mean that she is the head of the household or the guy in the relationship. That's not how it works. See, when you're in a relationship, when you're in a committed relationship, it is a 50-50 thing. You don't walk behind, you walk beside. So it's not her way or the highway, or your way or the highway. There's a lot of compromise. There's a lot of taking the time to understand where the other person is coming from, and them understanding where you're coming from, and communication. Y'all gonna wind up talking for about 4 hours, 3 hours to 4 hours about about what it is that was bothering y'all. To calm down, you're more inclined to actually listen to each other, not argue, but listen. And pride can be a downfall. Don't ever be too prideful to come back and say, baby, I was wrong. And she can't be too prideful to do the same thing. Pride is not always the best thing to overshadow. It's a good thing, but it's not always to overshadow the communication in the relationship. It's not to stop it and go, okay, you know what, I'm right and you're wrong, and I'm not giving in. And if you both got strong personalities, that's what's going on. Y'all both are going, I'm not going to apologize. I didn't do anything wrong. She did that wrong. You have to step outside of the box. Step outside of how you're looking at the situation. Try to see it from each other's point of view, so you can better understand. Because if you're looking towards the path of marriage, you have to work on that. That is something you have to work on, is a better understanding of each other and communication. Take a day just to focus on trying to understand each other. If you want to make that better, and you know, get a better understanding of each other, and you need to let her know how you feel. you know, how you feel about this situation and how you feel about that situation, and how she says this and how she says that, and she needs to listen to you, not talk over each other. Take turns. Future marriage, committed relationships and things of that nature, it has to be communication. That is the key. And you guys have to learn how to talk, not yell, not scream, not argue, but talk. There's going to be times when you're going to have differences. That is normal in a relationship. You're not going to always agree on everything. You know, we would love to, but it doesn't work that way. You're not going to always agree with that person. You're going to have your arguments. You're going to have y'all fighting. You're going to have the times when that's the only way y'all can come to a mutual agreement. But it should never get to the point to where we say things that we feel like we're going to regret later. So when it gets to that point to where you're so pissed off about what they're saying or how they're seeing things that you need to take a breather, you tell them, look, I need 5 minutes because I don't want to say anything that I'm going to regret. And they might not see it at that point because they're like, oh no, you gonna talk to me. You gonna talk to me. Because I was like that. That was me. You gonna talk to me. No. We're gonna talk. No, you cannot go walk out the room for a second. We need to talk. And she's like, I don't want to say nothing I'm gonna regret. Let me just calm down. And it would always be calming down and then coming back together and going, babe, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to trip like that. You know, I'm sorry. You know, I didn't mean those words. I didn't mean how I acted towards you. I was just pissed off. And then we were able to communicate and talk where it wasn't screaming, yelling, fussing, cussing, and going crazy on each other. It wasn't that. It was okay, you know what? I need to calm down. I feel better. Let's talk. Let's talk like adults. Let's talk like grown-ups and not scream at each other like kids, you know? And that's how it happens in every relationship. So it's not abnormal, especially, you know, being together for 2 years plus. You know, you're in that comfortable part in your relationship where y'all feel more comfortable telling each other what pisses y'all off about each other, you know, where you're like, oh, you get on my nerves right now, and she's like, you get on my motherfucking nerves. But as long as the bad don't outweigh the good, y'all can work on everything else, and you keep that in mind. You really can. So I hope I answered your questions, or I gave you another perspective. And I'm glad you asked. Thank you for asking. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask. Feel free to hit me up in my inbox, and I will definitely make a video for you. Peace.